Hello everyone, welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography. As you all know that I'm doing a session on the mapping series regularly. So another important thing I would like to do is about doing the sessions by daily, in the sense that we need to do it with respect to that. So we are doing a session, state-wise session. So one session we had already done on Karnataka. We have got a decent content out of that. Similarly, now we are focusing on Kerala, right? So Kerala got its own country. That is the thing. So let's start about this. So where is Kerala located? The first thing you have always seen to consideration is where is Kerala? What is the idea of that? So Kerala is the southwestern coastal state of India. Southwestern coastal state of India constitutes about 1% of the total area of the country. It is just around 1%. It's a very, very small area, just around 580 kilometers stretch along the Malabar coast. Now, this is important. The coastline of Kerala is the Malabar coastline, which is a coastline of emergence. That entire west coast, except the Malabar coast, is a coastline of submergent, whereas the Malabar coast is a coastline of emergence, right? Then, as you see it, what are the bordering countries? The bordering states of the Kerala. If you see the bordering states, definitely you should know Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, two important borders. And one more important thing, Kerala also has about the Union Territory region of Puducherry, a part of it called as Mahe. Mahe. Two more places about Union Territory you have here, the Karaikal, Puducherry, another Puducherry here, and in Andhra Pradesh you have something called it as what? Andhra Pradesh you have something called as the Yanam, which is also part of the Puducherry. These are the basic aspects of Kerala you need to remember. Then moving further, right. You can see here, this is the point I'm telling you. State of, or it is not a state, rather it is a segment of the Union Territory of Puducherry, Mahe. Right. Moving further, I think Tirunanthapuram, Trivandrum, capital, those kind of things go on of such era. We need not prepare about that. Then another aspect you need to prepare. What is about the terrain? What is the geography of Kerala? The moment when I talk about Kerala, don't we all remember about the physiography of Kerala with respect to Western Ghats, right? You can see here the Western Ghats. In fact, after the Nilgiris, this is at the junction of, you can see here, this is the Nilgiris, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu border. After Nilgiris, you have a gap. You know what is the gap? What is that gap called as? Palghat gap. You can see here, this is the Palghat gap. Palakkad gap or Palghat. Then the south of the hill ranges of Kerala, you find the hill ranges, right? The Annamalai hills, the Palani hills, and also some kind of the Cardamom hills south of this. Yes, Janta Chakma, good afternoon. Good afternoon. So please remember the Palghat gap, very, very important from the point of view of mapping series, the Palghat gap. Then as you see, let me show you the picture, the topography. Where is the topography? Yeah. You can see here, the topography here. You see the Palghat gap, Then you can see here the Agastyamalai. You can talk about, you can see the Cardamom hills, all such kind of things here. Then, so the first thing I was trying to tell you about is the Western Ghats, Kerala, Western Ghats. The region is surrounded from the, it is separated from the Nilgiris by a gap called Palghat Gap. Then you have the extensions, Palani Hills, Anaimudi here, then Agastya Malai, and the highest point, of Western Ghats, the highest point of entire Indian peninsula, Anaimudi, 2695 meters. Anaimudi, 2695 meters is located here, the highest point in Kerala. You should also know that, right? You should also know that as you move across, what you need to understand here is there is a diversity of topography. The elevation of these hills is quite high than the other Western Ghats. Here the Western Ghats elevation is quite high. Janta Chakma, what happened to master class? You will be having sessions of master from next week onwards. You do have the regular sessions from next week. Then you see it here. So that's what the thing. Please understand, Kerala is known for beaches, known for the agriculture things. But one of the important thing is also about the mountains, which is about the Western Ghats, represented by Nilgiris, the Palghat Gap, the gap, and then the continuation of the Western Ghats through Palani Hills and the Agasthyamala Hills, Cardamom Hills. Right. Right. Then you also have something called as what? The Cardamom Hills. So let us move it forward. Next aspect. When you talk about the geology of Kerala, you often assume that because if it is a coastal land, it is about more tertiary sediments. Yes, because it is a coastal land, definitely tertiary sediments will be located like sandstones, clays, laterite formations as such. But if you see it, it is part of the Indian peninsula. You also find the oldest variety of rocks which are represented in the Archean rocks. So Archean rocks, you can see oldest rocks found in Kerala and are primarily granite and gneiss formations. In fact, by nature, this is the oldest variety of rocks in the world, oldest rocks of the peninsular India. In fact, it is found in Karnataka as well, right? Then Proterozoic rocks. Rocks include the formations like charmoctites, condalites, and granulites. So you do find the age of rocks of Kerala as a different dimensions. Moving further, if you see it, now what kind of soils you do find in Kerala? As you can see in the map, you can see here the blue color, it is represented in the coastal alluvium. Coastal alluvium, the deposits of the sand, the deposits created by the ocean. That is one of the source. Then you can see it, you find the alluvium soils. You can see the alluvium soils, actual alluvial soils. These are the rivers. You also have some of the west flowing rivers in Kerala, no? Right? So such west flowing rivers, they also erode certain amount of thing, maybe not huge, but a certain minor thing that you find it. Then you can see it, the dominant one, the red color, which are all, we call it as the laterite soils. You can see the red color. These are all the hill ranges which you find the laterite soils. What are laterite soils? Soils which are found at the summits of the hill ranges. Summits of hill ranges, very crucial for our spice cultivation. Spice cultivation, right? And these laterite soils, they are rich in iron and aluminium by nature, iron and aluminium oxides, and is commonly found in the hilly regions of the state. So it is obviously found in the hilly regions. And how you think it is formed? It is formed out of what? Weathering of the basaltic rocks. What do you mean by weathering here? Erosion, deposition. Out of the erosion, deposition of that, it is formed. So that is one other aspect of soils of Kerala you need to understand. Moving further, right. What about the climate? What about the climate? what is the nature of the climate here? If you see the climate distribution, when you talk about the climatic regions distribution, according to classification by Köppen's climatic classification, we divide the climate of India into this one, AMW. It is AMW. It is about monsoon. It is about the most decent variety. AM means talking about the tropical. The climate, you have to talk about the tropical. It is fairly equatorial as such, but impacted by mostly by monsoons. So, because it is impacted by monsoons, it is called as AM. Marine impact is there, W, you do find it. So, you can call it as the climatic classification as AMW. Then as you move further, what about the rivers? What are the prominent rivers in Kerala? They can ask you. Periyar, Bharatpuzha, Pamba, Chaliyar, and the famous backwater network of Vembanad lakes. So, Periyar, Bharatpuzha, some important rivers are there which are part of Kerala. You just need to know only about which state. Don't go detail. Unless and until they are in news, we need not learn it. Then as you move further, you can see here the physical map I have just explained. I have seen the topography here. This is the coastal plains. Then you will find the directly the Western Ghats elevations. You do find it. As you move further, the lakes. What are the important lakes? One prominent important lake of Kerala we all need to understand is about the Vembanad Lake. Where is the Vembanad Lake? You can see the series of consistency lake here. This is the Vembanad Lake. Vembanad Lake. Now this Vembanad Lake, yes, you do find other kinds of thing here, right? Astamudi Lake, you can see Astamudi Lake. This is Astamudi, Sastamkote Lake, very near to it, Sastamkote. But one popular important lake you can remember is about the Vembanad. Have you ever heard about this one called as Kutanad? Have you ever heard about something called as Kutanad? Anyone here? Have you ever heard about it? Yes, Zanta Chekma, are you there? Can you tell me what do you mean by Kutanad? What is the association with Kutanad word? Can you tell me that? Come on, quickly. No. What is Kutanad? You know, it is the, okay, it is the lowest point of India in terms of the height. You have the highest point of India. Yes, Kutanad, it is the lowest extreme point of India. You know what is its height? Minus 2.2 meters mean sea level. So it is below the ocean. For example, something like this. If this is the ocean, then here it is a lake, Vembanad Lake, and here you will find once again land. So the elevation of Kutanad is below the mean sea level, minus 2.2 mean sea level, and this is where you will find below mean sea level cultivation of agriculture as well. Agriculture is also being practiced. Agriculture, right? So that is about this Kutanad. Now, what is the importance about this is the Vembanad Lake. As you can see here, this is, let me explain the Vembanad Lake. Vembanad. South of it, you find it is part of the Kutanad. It is part of the Kutanad rice cultivation, which is actually an important globally agriculture heritage site. Okay, what is this? the globally agriculture heritage site. Arey yaar, what is the color? Yes. Global agricultural heritage site. That is about the Kutanad, globally important agricultural heritage site. Then, once you see here, what do you mean by the Kerala? I think in Kerala, Kerala is very, very prominent for backwaters. You all agree with this? The backwaters. Locally, these backwaters, they call it as Khayals. K-A-Y-A-L, Khayal. What is the difference between a backwater and a lagoon? Geographically, you might remember Kerala's backwaters mean these are lagoons. What is a lagoon? Can you explain me what is the difference? You can see it in the picture here. A lagoon is a lake shaped water body that is separated from a larger water body through sandbars, say like a Chilika Lake. Imagine this is a land, right? There is a continuity of land. Then you see that this is the ocean, right? Ocean. Now, what if the ocean, you have a lake here like this, and then consistently again you have a water body. So, what is this? A narrow water body which is separated from, say, a big ocean. Lagoon is a narrow inlet, a narrow shallow lake separated from a big water body, maybe with some kind of land intrusions, maybe with deposits of sand. Say, what if there are some kind of, sand deposits? I think you have something called as sandbars. Imagine if there are sandbars like this and the land water body is separated from the main one. Like this, you can see in the picture, this is the ocean and here you will find some kind of a sandbar and there is a consistency. This is what we'll call it as a lagoons. Lagoons are narrow inlets of water body, separated from the main by something like spits, barrow, something like spits, or what is a spit here is depositional feature of a sand. So, sandbar, spits, whatever you can call it. Then what about backwaters? These are also very similar to it, very similar, mixture of lagoons, but what you find here is virtually when you have, see, these are all found at the land water interactions, and at the land water interactions virtually as you move, you will find that it is basically a branch of the main river water where there is virtually no current. That means there would be some rivers which would be flowing here and these rivers have deposited some land here and usually there is not much of a current. That is what we will call it as backwaters. In nature, they are a mix of both. So, Kerala's backwaters are a mixture of lagoon and an actual backwater which are having some kind of a river flow into it. For example, you can see here, the Vembanad Lake has its source in 4 rivers, Minachil, Achankovil, Pamba and Manimala. So, the lakes are associated with that. And one important thing about Vembanad Lake, as you can see the picture, the Nehru boat race, or what is they call it as Valam Kali, a snake boat race held every year here, is found here. This is the important. So, I think you heard about something called Khayals means what? Backwaters. You have also heard about how geographically the difference between backwater and the Khayals, the backwater and the lagoons. You got an idea? So, this is where Vembanad Lake becomes very, very important. Excuse me. And by nature, it is also a, because of its thing, it is also a Ramsar site. Nowadays, with Ramsar site having almost around 80 sites in India, every popular site which is a lake is still a Ramsar site. Right. Have you understood this? Then what is a creek? Creek is what? It's a very narrow inlet of water body that generally ends in a marshy area, though not always. So, In a marshy area, a water body which is found, we call it as a creek, but not much of a difference, right? So generally you can say at the land water interactions, you do find the creek. Then moving further, okay, beaches. Now, with such a beautiful area, this is known for wonderful beaches. Say one of the famous beach down south, you have the Kovalam beach, Kollam beach, Kovalam and Kollam, very, very beautiful beaches. But one important beach we also need to remember is something called, very down in the north, Kappad beach, which is having a blue flag certification. And it is a certification which is recently provided by an NGO, if I'm not wrong, right? It is trying to provide about environmentally safe standards about the lakes. Such environmentally safe standards about the lakes, understanding is what is the Kappad beach, the blue flag certification. So Kappad beach, blue flag certification, I definitely want you to remember. Moving further, see, you cannot prepare about everything, no? That's what. Then waterfalls, I think one important waterfall you can remember here is about the Atrapalli waterfalls. You know, this is the famous Bahubali waterfalls, where I think the Bahubali waterfalls has been picturized from this part, Atrapalli waterfalls. So that way you can talk about this Bahubali waterfalls or things Atrapalli waterfalls. So on the Chalakudi river, we have a river by name Chalakudi, that is where. See, otherwise, what are the points you can remember about Kerala when you are preparing for the country level? You cannot prepare about everything, no? If you are able to prepare everything about every state, yes, that is very difficult. So only some most prominent ones. Then minerals. Now, whenever you talk about the minerals, I think the first mineral which is very, very prominent in Kerala, we always study is about what? The sands having the deposits of thorium, right? Sands having deposit of thorium. As of now, whatever the areas which you can talk about that. But otherwise, if you talk about any particular thing which is in news, only that you can remember. Otherwise, minerals with respect to that, there is not much to learn. Then national parks. National parks about Kerala. When you talk about national parks of Kerala, there are so many important national parks. By the way, can you tell me what do you mean by Silent Valley National Park? Silent Valley National Park. Silent Valley. Why this national park is called as Silent Valley? Anyone? Why it is called as Silent Valley? The reason why it is called Silent Valley, it is because absence of a noisy cicadas insect. You do see some kind of a chipki or some kind of insect sounding there, right? That is what the forest you see. In the Silent Valley National Park, it is called so Silent Valley because of that noisy cicadas insect is ecologically absent here. That is the reason why it is important, Silent Valley National Park. And remember, it is part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Then one another important national park, Matiketan Shola National Park, located almost at the boundary with Kerala. Near to border with Tamil Nadu in Kerala only. It is in Kerala only, near to border. You know what is the significance? The neutrino project, which was started by our country, where you need to do some kind of experiments here, that experiments have an ecological impact on the animals here, though that experiments are happening in Tamil Nadu, just a few kilometers as you cross the border. So, if you talk about the debate between science versus wildlife, that is a very, very tricky thing to solve. You don't have any kinds of challenges. Science versus wildlife, right? Science is important, wildlife is important. What if both come into clash each other? You don't have any other place where you can actually practice some of the experiments which we need to carry out for the neutrino observatory, and that has a negative impact on a place called Matiketan Shola National Park. So that's where this becomes very, very important. So Nilgiri and Matiketan. Right. Then as you move further, agriculture, you know that because it is a coastal land, definitely you will find a good amount of rice, and because it is a land with more amount of even hill ranges, you do find coffee, tea, rubber, spices. You can see cardamom hills known for spices, and Kerala, you know what, pepper, coconut, all these are produced, right? So definitely when you have so much amount of water bodies, lakes, poultry farming will be there, fisheries will be there, fisheries will be there. These are also the supporting thing about things. Then when you see that when you have such much amount of lakes and all water bodies, good amount of agriculture, good amount of monsoons, definitely you will see that Kerala is a national leader in the fish production. It is also a national leader. Then you see that Kerala's forest yields valuable timber like ebony, rosewood, as well as teak. Valuable timber like ebony, rosewood, and teak. So that is what this idea about is. Remaining all you can ignore, right? These are the basic ideas, right? Population is also the older one. This older one you need not prepare right now. These are the basic funda of states. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here is, while you prepare about every state, some basic idea of mapping is what we needed. This is what I have explained in this. Hope you all have understood this, right? So that's it about today. If you want this file, I think you can always get it in my Telegram channel. The link is given in the description, as well as even if you want it, let me show you the link, right? So if you want the file, you can always get into my Telegram channel. That's it, all of you then. Thank you. See you again tomorrow with some more interesting topics. Until then, have a good time. Read well. Happy learnings. Thank you.